In studio to assess this one, Joe Musso alongside Lige Douzable. Deuce, I'm looking at the numbers for the Lions here because it's an impressive defense for Cleveland.
Correct.
We've seen that week time and again. 277 total, 4.9 per play. You get a touchdown in the third phase, but still 34-10 coming off of what by their standards isn't the most explosive game. What do you make of it?
Moose, the score isn't indicative of how this game went. You talked about it. The third phase, special teams gets a punt return. Also on defense, you get a score. Let's not forget the DJ Reed interception. He gets tackled at like the 4-yard line that sets up a touchdown for Amon-Ra St. Brown. So a great defensive performance by the Lions. Now, you talked about this Browns defense isn't talked about enough because the offense struggles so mightily, but that Browns defense got after it. I know there were some headlines with John Morton, the offensive coordinator, saying, well, Myles Garrett hasn't seen our run game. And besides Jahmyr Gibbs, the Cleveland Browns showed up and they mitigated the run. I believe they gave up just over 100 yards rushing and it was less than 4 yards a carry. So they did what they needed to do on defense.
Now, Cleveland and Detroit already in the American League playoffs. Meanwhile, their football team got together earlier today as the Browns took on the Lions.
On our pregame show, all these guys talk. Now it's Gibbs, the running back. He had a wonderful day of 91 yards, 34-10, Detroit all over Cleveland.
Hey, talk about answering the bell. Aiden Hutchinson, 2 sacks and a forced fumble. A dominant performance for him. Moments ago, he was with Megan O'Leary.
Aiden, 2 sacks, a forced fumble, tons of pressures. You were quite the disruptor today. What allowed you to get into such a rhythm?
We were marrying good rush with good coverage, and we were able to really create a lot of pressure up front. And it was a lot of fun today. Happy we got the dub.
And this was a team effort. I mean, there were defensive takeaways. There was a special team score. Amon-Ra St. Brown with a pair of touchdowns. The chemistry is elite on this team. What makes it so special?
We knew this. We got a lot of good players on this team, a very strong foundation, and we're just going to keep pushing forward. And whatever adversity comes our way, we're going to keep pushing through it.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Aiden. Congrats. Thanks.
Aiden Hutchinson continues that comeback from that terrible leg injury last season. And Michael, you and Howie talked about it earlier. He knew that everybody was talking about Myles Garrett coming in this game. Made sure he left with the headlines and the victory. Detroit now 3-1 on the season.
Absolutely. You know, I knew when a Bruce Smith or Reggie White or anybody was a great player, and even if it's a defensive tackle, if it's anybody you felt in direct competition to, Howie Long. I'm not that old, but yeah, I'm joking. I played against Howie a few. Fully recovered, obviously, and going against a team like Cleveland, you know, with a great defensive end and Myles Garrett. And even when they're showing Myles Garrett and some of the things he was doing out there, even though he didn't have the sacks and the numbers, these are two of the most fun guys for me to personally watch because they both are max effort guys every single time. Some of the best at their position, their technique, they take pride in the craft of rushing the quarterback and everything else. So I love watching these two.
One of the wonderful things is watching these two folks. We're sitting back there watching these games, and these two defensive linemen are talking about how they use their hands, how they use their body, how they got position. I'm sitting there, and as a quarterback,
you said teams that can beat you any way you want to play them. You're absolutely right. That's why the Lions are the best team in football. No one's talking about it, but the Lions are the best team because they can beat you any way you want to play them.
That's a morning wow.
And oh, by the way, they're the best team. And they will take anybody. Right now, you want to play them. If the Eagles want to play them, Niners want to play them, Cowboys want to play them. I don't think the Lions are scared of any of them.
Lions coming off a huge win over the Ravens in prime time. If you needed your eyes opened, look no further. This team is still sharp without their coordinators from a season ago. The Browns, meantime, it was drama in a win over the Packers, trying to take down consecutive NFC North opponents, but Joe was just in the giving mood. Flacco looking for Jerry Jeudy, picked off by DJ Reed. Jeudy falls on Hutchinson, one of 2 sacks in this game, ensuing Lions possession. Goff dumps it off to St. Brown, in for another. Lions win it 34-10, their third straight win after losing that season opener to the Packers. It's the second most points through the first 4 games of a season in franchise history. 137 points through these 4 games, and the Lions share coming in this last 3 weeks. Amon-Ra St. Brown matching Calvin Johnson and Herman Moore for the most touchdowns by a Lions receiver through the first 4 games of a season, with 6 already.
The Cleveland Browns, that ironclad fortress of a defense, storming into Ford Field like conquerors, ripping off an 88-yard touchdown drive on their opening possession, Quinshon Judkins bulldozing in from a yard out, 13 brutal plays of pure grit. The score flashes 7-0, and for a split second, the football world dares to whisper, could the Lions be vulnerable? But hold on, Lions faithful, because what unfolds next isn't just a comeback. It's a massacre. A 34-10 demolition where Detroit outscores Cleveland 34-3 from that moment on, turning the Browns into a gasping, turnover-riddled shell. This isn't football. This is predation. The Lions are 3-1 now, winners of 3 straight after that gut-wrenching opener loss to Green Bay. And they're not just winning, they're feasting. 137 points through 4 games, the second highest total in franchise history. A scorching pace that has Amon-Ra St. Brown already tying Calvin Johnson and Herman Moore with 6 touchdowns as a receiver in his first 4 games. 6. The man's a walking nightmare for defenses. And today, he carved up Cleveland like holiday turkey. But here's the controversy that's got me fired up. While the national media drools over the Eagles and 49ers, pretending the NFC's a 2-horse race, the Lions are screaming from the shadows. We're the apex predators here. They can beat you in a trench war, a shootout, or on special teams chaos. Eagles, Niners, Cowboys, step up. Detroit's begging for it. And if you're a Browns fan, this loss isn't just a defeat. It's the crumbling of your season's foundation, with Joe Flacco coughing up 184 yards, 2 picks, and a fumble that echoes like a death knell. Feel that chill? That's the danger of ignoring the roar, because the Lions aren't playing. They're hunting. But dominance like this doesn't come without scars. As the Lions' defense feasts, a shadow looms over their secondary. Stick around, because next, we dive into the havoc that buried Flacco, and the hits that could haunt Detroit. Picture the horror for Cleveland, their vaunted defense, the one that held opponents to under 20 points in 3 of 4 games this year, suddenly facing a Lions front 7 that's pure apocalypse. Aiden Hutchinson, Aiden, the comeback kid from that shattered leg last season, explodes back with 1 bone-crushing sack and a forced fumble that Noah Igbenogany scoops at the line of scrimmage, turning potential Browns momentum into Detroit's dagger. But wait, it gets uglier. 3 total sacks, Hutchinson's thunder plus Alex Anzalone's vice grip, 2 interceptions, DJ Reed snatching Flacco's gift to Jerry Jeudy at the 8-yard line, Kirby Joseph lurking like a ghost for the other pick on a telegraphed lob to Cedric Tillman. That's 3 Browns turnovers, folks, converted into 17 devastating points for Detroit. Flacco, that grizzled vet, looks like a rookie in a blender. 1-6 of 3, 4 for 180, 4 yards, but averaging a pathetic 3, dilapping yards per play on 247 total offensive yards. The Lions' D held Cleveland to just 82 rushing yards on 21 carries, under 4 yards a pop, except when they schemed away from Myles Garrett, letting Jahmyr Gibbs feast elsewhere. This is collapse in real time. The Browns' offense, once a promise of primetime glory after that Ravens win, now a fumbling, intercepted wreck. Their coordinators' ghosts, haunting every snap. And here's the shocking truth that'll ruffle feathers. Myles Garrett, the reigning DPOY shadow, gets 0 sacks, 0 headlines. While Hutchinson dances circles around him, 2 max-effort monsters, trading war stories mid-game. But today, Hutchinson owns the narrative, pressuring Flacco into early dumps that Derek Barnes and Brian Branch swarm like wolves. Lions fans, your defense isn't elite, it's terrifying, forcing opponents into a 34-10 surrender that feels like mercy killing. But controversy brews. Is this the blueprint for NFC North dominance, or just a fluke against a Browns team already teetering on irrelevance? Yet for every triumphant roar there's a wince, because glory's price is paid in flesh. As the defense celebrates, injuries strike like lightning. Up next, the blows that could derail this Lions' pride. Now, shift to the gridiron poetry that's making Detroit untouchable. An offense that doesn't dazzle with fireworks every snap, but strikes with surgical precision. 277 total yards, sure, but Jared Goff's 1-6 of 2-7 for 168 yards and 2 touchdowns to his soulmate, Amon-Ra St. Brown, feel like symphonic vengeance. That first strike? A 2-yard slant late in the half, St. Brown shedding Denzel Ward like yesterday's news after Sam Laporta's textbook pick play. Then, the fourth quarter exclamation. An 8-yard dagger. St. Brown's 6th TD in 4 games, matching Megatron and Moore's immortal mark, a stat that screams legacy while whispering, watch out, history. Add Gibbs' 15-carry, 91-yard clinic, 6.1 yards per pop, including that game-tying 8-yard burst. And you've got balance that buries souls. But the real gut punch? Special team sorcery. Khalif Raymond's 65-yard punt return TD, weaving through shoddy Brown's blocks like a ghost in the machine, flipping a 20-10 nail-biter into a rout. This is the Lions' secret weapon. Versatility that adapts, evolves, crushes. No bloated yardage fest, just 34 points on a night where they own time of possession? That's efficiency weaponized. And the emotion? It's electric. Street, Brown, that relentless warrior, blocking on Gibbs' score like his life depends on it. Laporta pancaking defenders with ferocity that'd make linebackers weep. For you, the 30-year-old grinder watching from the couch after a long week, this is your escape. Pure, unfiltered joy in a world of letdowns. But let's stir the pot. Critics call this lucky breaks, but I say it's engineered dominance. Brown's scheme to neuter the run, holding most backs under 4 yards? Fine. Gibbs laughs last. This offense isn't flawed. It's a chameleon, ready to devour any style you dare throw at it. Exhilaration like this fuels dreams. But football's cruel underbelly reminds us. Every high has its crash. The injuries piling up? They're the storm clouds threatening to drown the party. Let's face the fear head-on next. Amid the glory, darkness creeps in. A hamstring tweak on DJ Reed, carted off after that heroic Judy pick. Sidelining your shutdown corner for at least a game, his absence a gaping wound in a secondary already tested. Then Terrion Arnold, the rookie phenom, clutching his shoulder after a vicious tackle. Not deemed serious yet, but whispers of weeks lost echo like thunder. Add Jacob Saylor's hamstring pull on special teams, and suddenly, this 34-10 triumph feels like walking a razor's edge. Remember last year's Hutchinson leg break? The rehab hell? The doubts? Now imagine it multiplied. Reed's athleticism, that sneaky pick-six setup at the 8, gone in a flash. Arnold's fresh legs, meant to lock down WR1S, potentially rusting on the shelf. For Browns fans, it's salt in the wound. Your team limps out 1-3, Conklin's elbow out, Jones' knee ending his season, Tillman's hammy yanking him mid-fight. This is degradation distilled. Bodies breaking, seasons fracturing. The brutal truth of a league that chews up dreams and spits out excuses. Shocking, isn't it? The Lions, hailed as invincible, now vulnerable to the injury god's whims. Controversy alert. Is Dan Campbell's physical style that punch-you-in-the-mouth mantra a ticking bomb, glorifying grit at the cost of health? Fans over 50, you've seen dynasties crumble on infirmary beds. 20. Somethings. This is your wake-up. Cherish the wins, because tomorrow, it could all evaporate. The roar fades to whimpers if these hits linger. A nightmare scenario where Detroit's surge stalls before the playoffs. Fear grips, but history beckons. Because amid the bruises, the Lions are etching epics. Let's zoom out to the bigger picture. Records shattered, a franchise reborn, and why this team's primed for immortality. Step back from the blood and bandages. This Lions squad isn't just winning, they're rewriting the script of suffering. 137 points in 4 games. Second only to the 91 Dream Team in franchise lore. A barrage that's lit up Amon-Ra as the heir to Johnson and Moore's throne with those 6 early TDs. 3 straight W's, avenging that Packers heartbreaker, now staring down a Bengals brawl with Joe Burrow lurking like a viper. But here's the nuance that hooks you. Detroit's not a one-trick pony. They throttled Baltimore's bruisers on Monday night, wore down Cleveland's steel wall, physical chess at its finest. Excitement surges because they adapt. Run. Game mauling when skies clear. Aerial daggers in the storm. Praise them, Lions Nation. From the 2-0-year-old hyped on TikTok clips to the 6-0-year-old vet reminiscing Barry Sanders. This is your team. Unbreakable spirit. In blue. Controversial fire. NFC elite scoff, calling it hype. But I dare say, Lions over Eagles in the NFC champ? Bet on it. The drama? Burrow's Bengals, desperate at 2-2, could exploit those injuries, turning Week 5 into a grudge-fest bloodbath. Feel the pull? This isn't hype. It's destiny unfolding, a surge that demands your eyes, your screams, your undying faith. Destiny calls. But the hunt continues. With eyes on Cincinnati, the Lions' fire burns brighter. One last charge. What grade does this beast earn? And who's your MVP? Drop it below. Subscribe for the Bengals breakdown. Because ignoring this roar, that's on you. The pride awakens.